Hello and welcome to this special podcast for E3. I'm Carlie. I'm joined by Fancy.
Yeah, I'm Fancy, yes.
Relax.
Yes, hello there.
And for the first time, Sab.
Hey, what's up?
Yes, Queen, yes.
Welcome to the misadventure.
Yes, Sab
for
is one
having
of our
me.
spies, our on-the-ground correspondent. We have to protect her.
That sounds more formal. Because E3 outside of Square Enix might have been mostly unmemorable, but we certainly didn't have an unmemorable weekend, considering how much
Right, that was wild.
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
why FF7 and Square Enix is probably going to eat up like 70% of the time we talk.
We're
Frankly
gonna
speaking.
start with the thing that we were all, at least two of us, were waiting for, which was the Tifa reveal. And I'm gonna start with Fancy, because she has a lot of opinions on the matter.
Oh my gosh, this chick gonna put me on the spot. Okay, fine, right. Okay, so let me put you in my world, right? So, okay, I told everyone before the stream even started, like, listen, I'm not gonna front with you. I'm only here for Tifa. I'm not gonna be like, I'm sorry.
You did say that. You did say that.
I did.
Girl,
I said,
I feel
okay,
that.
I'm not even gonna pretend that I'm for anything else. I'm telling you, if I don't see Tifa, I'm gonna be really upset. If I do see a Tifa, I'll be screaming. Like either way, like I told people you can meet me on the stream. They didn't because they were trusted me.
No, it made it, like, you and I had the most hilarious reaction to, like, Tifa showing up.
Bruh, yes.
Honestly, I was just watching the stream for Fancy's reaction. That was the only reason I was there.
But that's a very good reason, too.
because I have some notoriety of like overreacting to shit. Anyway, so yeah, so that happens. The conference is happening. They drop that joke like, when are we gonna see Tifa? And they're like,
And you
I
get,
don't know.
like,
I don't know.
immediately you're like, what? And like, just leave the emotions for a little bit. We're not sure
I
yet.
was like, bruh, I was like conceal not feel, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be professional here, you know, like the livestream.net. Yes, we're professionals here. No, I'm not gonna let the wild out. And so, right, that happened. And then the trailer is happening. I'm like, they're not showing my bitch. I want to be happy. Everyone looks so good, but I don't. And then everything is quiet. And then I see her and I lose it.
Jeez.
Bruh.
We have the VOD of that if you're looking for receipts.
They have actually my like, that sort of like.
I heard it back, the reaction, and I'm not sure I can replicate the sounds that I was doing.
I know you were like, Carlie was losing her shit too. She's like, oh my god, we've been waiting for Tifa.
But I made this really clear. It's somewhat similar to you.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not super attached to Final Fantasy VII. The only thing I care about seeing, because like Tifa is a character that I've been like attached to for a lot of years. I just wanted to see Tifa. I didn't give a shit about anything else.
Right.
And when they showed her, I was like, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So like, right. Like, it, like we making love. We're having like, it's great. It's exciting. Sex. Blah 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 blah. You know, we reach our orgasm. We reach the high. But and then like the afterglow.
Yeah,
you know,
like
when you're messing around with somebody and like you're over at their place or whatever, and you're like, yes, and then like you wake up the morning after and you look in their mirror and you're like, what the fuck did I do last night? Well, that was sort of the feeling I got. Like days
analogy is actually happening.
days after like taking in Tifa, and especially because like I was working on like the Tifa reveal, because like V and I had did the Tifa E3, what is she going to look like, you know, speculatory video, and then we had to work on the analysis. So I've been looking at Tifa like a lot, and I have to say, apparently this is controversial, but I think she looks unfinished. I think she looks very plain compared to everybody else. And like there was like this theory coming out that people were speculating that, because Tifa's demand was so high that she came out earlier than Square intended, but like my analogy that I gave somewhere, you can find it, is that Tifa was a cake that was baking in the oven, you know, getting delicious, getting golden brown, getting beautiful. And people were outside the Square Enix bakery, just bear with me with this analogy, and they're like, bitch, give me that Tifa cake. Give me the Tifa cake. I want the cake. It's not done yet. It's not. I don't care. Give me the. And so they pulled Tifa out, half baked, out of the oven. They gave it to us.
And you were one of those.
I was one of those people. I was one of those people. Tastes like raw dough, and I've never tasted anything more delicious.
We're all guilty.
We're all guilty. But after I got like the stomach ache from the raw dough, I was like, maybe I should have waited for the cake to be finished. Because again, I am one of those people of mind. Because like just like the Marlene and Tifa reveal in particular, if you look back at the frames, which I had to again for the video and getting like pictures and shit for the analysis, like she does that weird like uncanny like whoa, like the mouth is open, like, and the eyebrows are like super animated and the eyes are super wide, and like, you know what I mean, like that sort of uncanny, this is not a human being talking with a robot.
Yeah. Have you seen the Japanese version? Because she actually says Marlene's name in Japanese, but she doesn't say it in the English version. Her mouth just moves.
Oh my gosh.
I don't really know why that is.
Yeah. No.
Because Marlene's Marine in Japanese, and that's what she says, Marine, and then stands up. That's why her mouth is moving like that.
Yeah.
But they didn't do the English part for whatever reason.
I wonder.
So I don't know why. Like, if they wanted it to be silent, I don't know why they just didn't like close her mouth in the animation.
Yeah, or it's unfinished.
Yeah, there's that too. Like you aren't the first person I've heard that from. I think Easy Allies were talking about that as well. They said that they think that like her reveal might have been rushed out because of the demand. Like they knew that there was a demand to see Tifa, and they were like, "Where is she?" Do you know what I mean? So
right.
I saw them saying that
too. It probably would have caused an even bigger outrage if she didn't show up. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, it would have been like ugly. I feel like so like even though I do think ultimately that she was rushed out, I'm hoping at the Tokyo Game Show that we see a more like solidified version of what she's going to look like in the remake.
Yes. One other thing as well, do you not think she looks better in the cutscenes?
I do.
Rather than the like, so when you first see her, that's obviously a cutscene, but she does look unfinished there. But then there's the one where she says,
"I feel trapped.
My turn," and on the train.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And she looks a lot better in that scene, I thought.
I mean, overall, I still think she looks rough.
Yeah, here's my thing. They should have known there was going to be a lot of fan demand to see her. Once like the teaser showed Cloud a couple of months ago in Arif, so they should have started working on her a little bit sooner to do the reveal now. That should have been something they should have foreseen coming. Yeah, because like after you have Cloud, Arif, and Barrett, she was going to be the character that people wanted to see.
Yeah,
and it made the most sense. But like what they do is that this thing that they don't do the things that they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was also thinking actually, because I feel like for like a while people have been demanding to see Tifa, so it does like interest me, like what must have been going on behind the scenes, because like everyone knows that she's like a huge deal. So I think maybe that has to do with why she has been looks so underdeveloped. I can easily see her being one of the more controversial characters to remake, like even like her like costume design alone might have taken a lot of like time and like delays. I'm like, oh, do we keep the stockings? Do we not? Oh, do we change this? Do we change that? It's like, oh, but she's such an icon, you know. She's a huge deal.
Maybe they couldn't decide how they wanted to.
Right. I'm sure that there was like some last minute freakouts, like, oh wait, no, but like no, she should do that. Right. I easily see that happening because Tifa means like so much, and she is such a huge deal, and like they had to nail it with whatever resources they had at the time. They had to nail it, and they did. I mean, if we were like starving at that point, we would have eaten up anything. Like I told people, I would have been happy with like a silhouette or something. Like just let me know.
I mean, assuming that she is unfinished, and this was the base of it, I'm happy. I'm happy knowing that this is the base.
Right.
And if they build upon this and make it look even better, that'd be amazing.
Like if you compare it to like say the detail that Arif already has on her, it is obvious that they started working on Tifa later, and there's still work to be done. It is. I do like the way that they're going with her outfit, being someone that's not a fan of the miniskirt, because it doesn't make sense for someone that's a martial artist to be having that kind of outfit on. I hope, but I'm thinking it's not gonna happen, that she would have more. Her arms will have more muscle on them, a lot more
Yeah.
muscle on them, because she should not be like the skinny arms that she's sporting there.
Yeah.
And it's like what happens most of the time, because it doesn't make sense for a person. There's so much for artists and
Right.
involved in physical activity not to have more defined arm. It's the same with the abs. There should be more definition there, and I think there might be a little bit more, but not to where it would make sense for her character.
Right. Well, Square's probably gonna keep her cute though, like
Oh yeah, definitely.
quote unquote.
It's an issue that I have with it, because that's an issue.
I would hope that they'd put more definition and bulk, but just considering Japanese beauty standards, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. Speaking of Japanese beauty standards, I thought it was interesting because I thought something like even after like I took in Tifa's face and I was like, change is scary, but I decided that I was like happy with everything. But like when I saw like the official render of her,
yes,
I've been like warming up to that. I've noticed that something was like off about her face, and like I'm sure a lot of people are listening have like figured out already. But because I was comparing it to Advent Children, the arch of her eyebrow is like vastly different, and I think it has to do with like the Korean wave that like sort of took over all those years ago. I mean, Korea is obviously still very influential, like soft power throughout the world. But at the time of Advent Children's release, this sort of like really arched brow was very popular and trendy in Japan, like Japanese beauty standards. But like lately, it's been the flat brow that's been happening. And if you compare like Tifa in that trailer reveal to her Advent Children rendition, her eyebrows are significantly more flattened and soft. And it's changed a lot about her face, I think. Because like if you took that away, I feel like she looks a lot like her Advent Children rendition. It's just that I guess they like plucked up her face and again softened her eyebrow to make her look younger, possibly.
Is this something you're going to be exploring in your next Tifa video?
Yeah. So if you want to cut out this bit, I mean, I'm sure this is going to come out afterwards. I don't know. Ugh, don't talk to me about that video just yet. Yes. I don't think
product plug.
It's gonna happen. The Tifa video. Yeah, we're gonna explore that a little bit more. It's gonna be sexier in the Tifa analysis video where we dig in deep.
That's one thing I wanted to bring up though about Tifa is that in the character renders, which are on the Square Enix Press site, you can see the characters in extreme detail.
Mm-hmm.
She is just as detailed as the other characters in those renders.
Right.
But if you were to take their models from the trailers that we've seen and stand the four of them side by side, I think Tifa would noticeably look less detailed.
Right. Yeah. That's just the facts. Like if you see in her hair, it doesn't even look like hair, in my opinion. She's a potato.
She's a little potato.
Yeah, if you compare it specifically to the beginning on the trailer when you see Arif, like that iconic scene from the original game, the detail in her hair and her clothes, you can tell.
You can count every strand.
That character, as opposed to Tifa.
Meanwhile, in the bar scene, the glass of the drink she's holding isn't even finished. It's invisible.
I'll bring up though, in fairness, the scene that you're talking about is CG with Aerith at the start, whereas I don't think we've actually seen CG Tifa.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen CG Tifa either, which is like fair enough. But even still, like
I think CG Tifa probably exists already. We just haven't seen her yet, if I had to guess, because they usually make those CG scenes quite early.
But you would reckon the scene with Cloud and her with the flower exchange, where Cloud's like, a flower? And she's trying to give him that. That's not CGA.
That's not
CGA, but they still look significantly better than Tifa does in the bar.
I agree. Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree with that for sure. I don't know if it's fair to compare the image of Aerith like this the start of the game, because that is CG, with Tifa, who we've not seen CG of.
The next time I fight someone, I'll just grab that screenshot then.
I mean, I will give it a pass up till the Tokyo Game Show, because I'm assuming that's where we're probably gonna show CG Tifa, and if she's still not as detailed as it should be, then we can start like properly fighting about
then
it.
We can start Then we can be like, pull up the new screenshot. Look at this pack.
I think I'm in a similar position to Sab in that I feel like they've just got a bit more polish to do.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing about her design changes, I'm cool with that because I like the design.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to look more finished, I guess.
Right, yeah.
There are things about it that kind of stand out a little bit under scrutiny. If you're not scrutinizing it to the level that we are, then it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But because of who we are.
Right. And yeah, again, because I've been obsessing over screenshots for the video, it's like I noticed like the fuck is this?
Yeah. When you're doing that kind of analysis, you do notice these things that stick out. Like there's our arm looks really weird at one point when she's turned and stuff, doesn't it? It's
Right. She looks super
it's-
stiff. We're not being haters.
yeah. And they like both her and Marlene look like robots.
Right.
When like in that introduction scene they do. They look like lifeless robots. It's a bit creepy with how expressive, and I think that might be it actually. Like other than the small things like her arm looking weird when she turns, there's not that many sins. It's just that with how expressive Cloud and Aerith and even Barrett have been in the previous trailers, you don't really get that from Tifa.
Right.
So she just doesn't have that same element of life to her. They've probably not done that capture part yet.
So speaking of Tifa's design though, don't hate me.
There we go.
I overall like the direction that they're going through, but I do think I'm a bit disappointed about the amount of black there is everywhere. I think her look could be punctuated. Like they got rid of red gloves and they're black now, and like they're covering most of her legs with black as well.
The red gloves would have been nice because she's got the red boots still. So
right, yeah.
It doesn't really make sense that they took that away. Maybe they didn't want it to stand out so much.
I don't know. I would have liked it if they kept that red glove, because again, I just feel like there's a whole lot of black in her, especially in Midgar, where everything is so dark.
There's still red on the glove though, right?
Is there? Oh well, yeah, in the forearm bit.
Oh right, yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, and the glove itself, it's still black. And because the first game is gonna be setting in Midgar, her hair looks black. Advent Children suffered from the same thing, where her hair looked like black for most of the film. I was like, oh, and I wondered if her hair was just gonna be like straight up like black in this one too. But then I saw the render of her and it's clearly brown. So I think it just looks dark because of the Midgar setting.
You can see that it's brunette, I think, but like you're right in that most of the scenes are in darkness, so it does look darker.
Yeah.
But there's scenes where like I've actually got one in front of me now. I don't know if it'll be worth like linking that or something in the video since we're talking about it, but where they're fighting Airbuster and the lights really make her hair look light brown. Like
yeah, it's nice how faithful they kept her coloring, because like that was one of the things that people were freaking out too. It was like, oh my god, Tifa has red eyes. People were super happy about that. I was stoked about that as well.
Yeah, like I was amazed by that, to be honest, because even though like Cloud and Aerith especially have like really colorful eyes, I wasn't expecting Tifa to have the red. I just wasn't.
Right, it was super saturated.
I thought it might have just been like a shiny, like, brown hazel.
Right, like a hazel.
They're such a good color, I think. I love her eyes.
Yeah, they're great.
I would say like one of the things that were worrying the most was the miniskirt, and I feel like the way they're going about it, I'm okay with. It's not what I specifically would have wanted, because I never really understood the miniskirt thing. But I look at the design about it and like these details that are in it and all that stuff. It looks
They
nice.
gave her in one of the shots when she's kicking. I can't English. Shamagal. What are the aquatic creatures again? The aquatic creatures. Sahagins, thank you. Okay, so you're gonna edit out Shamagalogin.
No, absolutely not.
Keep
the scene where Tifa kicks the fuck, I forget already. Shamagalogins. You can see she has like a modesty skirt. Or like not a skirt, but a modesty shorts underneath. I think.
Yeah, she does. She definitely. She needs those. Come on, like
right. It's
if they were going to have that skirt be that length, they had to give her that.
Right. Yeah, I have to give her that. Yeah, but I've noticed one detail. Some people are loving it. I don't know how I feel about it after thinking about it. But she has like skulls in her pleats. Oh, and can we talk about like the little charm she has? I thought that was really cool.
I love the charm
because
the
charms are so cute.
Is amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
It reminded me a lot of Blair Armitage's like chocobo charms that she had on her. It's like, oh,
the skulls between the pleats of the skirt, I don't get it.
It feels
additional
very Hot
detail. Yeah, exactly. Like, I actually know what Hot Topic is because I've watched a shit ton of videos. But we do not have Hot Topic in the UK.
I was gonna say. Oh wait, did I just?
I don't even know what our equivalent is, but like basically just a goth shop. So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't really get it. I suppose it's a design decision and it doesn't really take away from anything, but it's Like it does feel quite immature almost to have like the little skulls in the
like
skirt
why
like
though?
that. Exactly. It's just like why do that?
One, it doesn't really fit with this game. Two, it just definitely doesn't fit in with her character at all.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is Tifa like a punk rocker now? Like, this is the texture character.
You can see that in a
Yeah.
character in a Borderlands game because then it would make sense, you know, that type of thing.
Right?
But, like,
yeah, like fuck, what's her name? I'm not remembering any of the names. Not Maya, but like
Lilith?
start with a G. Fuck, not Lilith.
Oh,
Starts with a G.
yeah, that girl, the one with the robot.
The necromancer.
Yeah.
Yes. Damn it. I'm such a fake fan. I see her name. I just can't say it. But like, yeah, it looks like something of that aesthetic. Like, totally Borderlands. Sort of punk rock emo.
Because I remember that when the trailer of State of Play came out and people saw the jacket that I was wearing, apparently other people were complaining about it. Whereas I thought it actually fit in with her, considering where she lived. They kind of gave her a little bit more edge than she should have.
Yeah, she looks like a badass.
Maybe they're trying to portray a younger Tifa. I don't know.
Yeah, like a more amateurish. Yeah,
Like,
I'm not amateurish, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, then it should be something else. Like, just the skulls doesn't fit in with her character at all, even if you're trying to portray her younger.
Yeah, I think the skulls are just like a random decision. Well, maybe she found it in a thrift shop and she was like, yeah.
That was my thought. Maybe she was thrifting.
I just wanted a mini skirt.
Hey, maybe
She was thrifting.
Maybe there will be a story. You never know.
I got this skull skirt.
They'll have to fit in a bunch of things to make her be so long.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of which, do you think there is going to be an expansion of Tifa story? I feel like there's a bit of a fear that that Square is going to say like too much in the remake, and because some of the allure in the original game is like the mystery and like the not half baked, but like the storylines where you don't completely know everything about each character, and it sort of gives people a chance to like run wild with their imagination, which I prefer. I love that. I don't like too much exposition and like explanation and like, oh, this happened because such and such and such. Like,
well, we know there's going to be more.
We know there's definitely going to be more for sure, but I hope it's not like forced. That makes sense.
Okay, so
I guess I see what you're saying. I wouldn't mind learning a little bit more about Tifa's parents, though.
Yeah, sure.
In the same way, I wouldn't mind learning more about like Cloud's parents, both of them, but especially his mother, like because that makes the Nibelheim incident.
Cloud's mom.
Yeah, it gives it more of an impact, doesn't it, when you know a bit more about those characters?
And I think I want to know a little bit more about Tifa's after the Nibelheim incident and she gets into Midgar, like how her and Barrett met up. Probably.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because that's something that we don't know.
Right, like how did she come to be part of Avalanche? Like that's what.
Yeah, like how did she travel to Midgar even? Because
right,
they make such a big deal and all the expanded stuff about how far away.
I mean, when you think about it, there's so much that they can explore, and so who knows what we'll be able to do in the game. But
we'll probably even grow more sympathetic to the original members like Jesse Witt and Big.
Oh god, fuck me up. That's gonna kill me.
I know, right? And it's gonna be so heartbreaking knowing that what they're in is going to be, unless you think they're going to change that up. I don't think so. A lot of people are talking about like, oh, they might change up who dies or not, but I think who dies in the game is like pivotal to the plot, and whoever dies has to die.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to drastically change like any major plot points like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can see that they will give us like additional stuff, because not when we've seen how well they've nailed the tone of the game now, which is a shock to be honest. But they really seem to have nailed it. And after having watched post E3 stuff like from Max. Specifically Maximilian Dude, I watched that entire stream, and the stuff he says is just out of this world. So I think they're really going to like because they're 100% like aware of how everyone is feeling about these things. So I think they'll nail the tone, and I don't think they would risk changing too much. But the question might come down to what would the fans be mad at, and what would the fans not be mad at? Like maybe one of the 3 Avalanche members survives and the other 2 die. Like maybe it could be Jessie, and then she dies later or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I doubt that's going to happen, but like something like that could happen, and I don't think people would be that mad about it because you still maintain the original storyline while giving us something extra.
Right, making it something exciting for new players.
Yes, but I suppose like if you were to keep somebody like Jessie alive, it would lessen the impact of the plate falling. And I actually think like that moment is actually going to happen quite late in the game.
Yeah,
since Midgar's the whole
right.
game.
It has to be like the big finale, the big climax. Like you've been attached to these characters,
of an act,
right, for so long. Like these are your teammates, and like you love them, and you've been through so much, and in all this gameplay, and then at the end, their life is snatched from them.
Yeah, I think the play is probably going to fall about halfway through the game. Would be my guess.
Yeah, for sure.
A third to halfway, because we know that the game ends with leaving Midgar, and we know when the plate falls with respect to getting to Shun headquarters as well.
Yeah, I would say it's halfway.
To me, it would be fill up. Like you would, to me, you would get more, like say, side quests involving all these characters, like side stories. You could do stuff with this character and the Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. More interaction between them. It has to be a lot of side content because like this still is insanely big for what is like the first tiny part of the game.
Having said that, I'm not sure because, and I don't want to turn this into a speculation video, but like having gone through the previous trailer and the current trailer and stuff, if you look at their HP, and that's not really a metric we should look at because it is in development and we don't know and all that stuff, but their HP kind of tracks like a few levels between, you know, the first mission and the second mission. And if they do follow the original canon, then basically anything with the Avalanche crew has to be fitted in between the first and second bombing missions, because after that, the story is basically on rails until they die. So I don't know about that because it looks like their levels basically don't jump up that much between the first and the second bombing mission with Tifa. So that's interesting. So maybe the plate falling will happen sooner than we think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe all this is gonna go out the window and like, oh no, yeah, they're gonna die just quickly. Hi, bye.
Oh no.
But you thought, you know, what was interesting? Something we saw in the trailer. A Cloud on his motorbike with Jesse on him behind him.
Yeah, the major theory is that that's their escape from the first reactor mission.
Yeah. And then she's like extra friendly. And then someone pointed out that she was the one asking about his closeness with Tifa or whatever. And people were like, oh, is this going to be a new competitor in the notorious LTD? But
she says, what is it she says?
No.
It's a Max video. Sorry, Sabi, you're going to say something?
Oh no.
It was Max who said that she does comment on it. She says something like, they talk about Tifa without mentioning Tifa's name during the first reactor bombing mission, and holy shit, I'm so excited for all that banter to hear it. But she basically is like, I think it's Wedge. She says to Wedge or Biggs, like, she really seems to trust this guy, which is why she's done this. Like, she's basically given him this job or convinced Barrett to give him this job.
Right.
Like, they have a conversation about it, and like, if you don't know FF7, you don't know who they're talking about. But if it's you, you know it's Tifa. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because we know the original.
Yes.
Which is like they've apparently put a shitload of dialogue in that's like that you'll understand if you know the original story.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's like service for the fans, but also keeping things fresh for the new players.
Yes.
I love it. That's really
cool. And it gives a little bit of exposition as well.
Kind of has a BioWare feel to it, and I hope that they do go in that direction. They have a lot of like the party members interacting with each other and talking while you're doing something.
They do have that in droves, from what Max said.
That's good.
I would encourage anyone to watch Max's video if they're worried about it, because everything he said has made me feel great about it.
Yeah.
Because they did start kind of going in that direction with 15. It just like it was just touching the surface. If you played a BioWare game, you know how deeper that goes.
Yeah.
It's like 15 just like half-assed it.
15 did an okay job of it. It just wasn't all that interesting, I think, a lot of the time. So it was like they were having this expository banter, and sometimes you got a little kick out of it because they would comment on the environment and stuff, and that's great. But you're right, it did not feel as deep as, say, BioWare.
What's it called? Speaking of BioWare feel, I don't know if we want to take the podcast in this direction, but how do you how much do you think choices are going to matter in this game? This is still going to be like the illusion. Do you think it's be like the still illusion of choice, and then like they're going to have definite events?
This is not what this type of game is.
I just want to know if my high affection system is still in place and if I can go on a date with Barrett. Like, that's all that matters to me.
I wish that was like the thing that would actually happen, because it would be hilarious. And it was
right. If that was like the canon, then you couldn't change it. Because I'm sure people were speculating, like, oh, who's he gonna go date with? Who's he gonna do it? And it's just fucking Barrett. No matter what you do, you can't change it.
Like, it gives us a really funny scene,
right?
And like, here's the thing:
like
you
sort
can
of fuck you to all the shippers.
Exactly. And then you can have like Barrett and Cloud like together and it'd be really funny. But then you can have like Tifa and Arif and maybe Yuffie together hanging out, and it could really do this really cool bonding moment and all that shit. Please do that.
Like,
yeah, anything that
awesome.
pisses off shippers, why not me? Yeah, please do that. So you had a beef with like Tifa's design and all that shit. Mine was with some of the voice talent. Because I really don't know the guy that's voicing Cloud, Cody Christian. Don't really know anything about it. It sounded fine.
Yeah, I love him.
I remember after this State of Play trailer that came out, I was talking to Lex and I was saying it would be really cool to have Tifa being voiced by a voice actress that I know and like. I wouldn't want, like, some of my favorite voice actors, Laura Bailey. I'm getting tired of seeing her everywhere, because it should be more opportunities for more people. So my first choice would have been Kimberly Brooks. I knew that was probably never going to happen, and it wasn't. The voice actress is doing Tifa is Britt Baron. The only thing I really know her from is Glow. She sounded good. And I went on her Instagram. She's kind of like a nerd and all that stuff. I do like where that's going. My issue was with Arif. And especially her voice actress called Brianna White doesn't really have a lot of credits to her. It's mostly just like basically like extras in shows. Her voice sounds really innocent, and I'm not in favor of that. Especially because Jessie is voiced by Erica Limbeck, who is like a voice actress with a lot of credits on her, and the way she's voicing Jessie is what I want from Arif. I don't want the innocent sounding character, because that's fine when she's 15, even though Crisis Core did a horrible job with her character. She's not that innocent character. She's more mature. Right. There's this sadness about her. It took me a long time to understand this when I was a teenager, until I actually went looking at the original game and I saw what her character actually was, and I was really fascinated by it. So I don't want like this innocent type character in this innocent type voice. And like, I think it was a couple of days ago that Brianna White, the voice actor that's doing Arid, like, was talking about it on Twitter. And when you hear her actual voice, that's a lot better than what she's actually being told to do for her cat. It's annoying the shit out of me.
It's very reminiscent of like Kingdom Hearts, sort of. That sort of intonation in her voice.
It's just conversation that Arid went through after the original game.
Right. Well, that's
she became this more innocent and pure character that she wasn't in the original game, and I'm not in favor of that.
I agree with your concerns. I definitely agree with that. I'm really worried. I became really worried when the State of Play trailer released and she grabbed Cloud and said, "Help me," because but we still don't know what that's about. But like, that gave me the heebie-jeebs, because I was just like, please do not go down that road with her. Like, that was the exact opposite of what I wanted.
Right.
Because it's not who she is. It's just not who she is. Like, in the original, she's a badass, but she's not. She's outgoing and she's rude.
Yeah.
Even
right. Yeah. And like the whole bodyguard thing was more out of like a cheeky, like, she can take care of herself, but it's more just like a flirtation than like she literally needs a bodyguard on the original.
Yes.
Right.
She's a flawed person, and she's sarcastic and sassy, and like, she threatened to rip someone's balls off in the original game, and she's older than Tifa. She should not sound younger than Tifa.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember that.
I definitely share those concerns. I'm not 100% worried yet, because everybody was worried about Cloud.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's been pretty much demonstrated now that like they know what they're doing with him, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I was so afraid of getting Advent Children caught. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen enough of Aerith to make a judgment yet.
I'm hoping, because like I was trying to justify, I was trying to be hopeful. Like, well, if so a bunch of like spirits were like floating around me, I'd be bugging out too. But it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that, because she does seem like that was like a first time for her. Like, but I do understand your concern. I remember, because like said, when with the State of Play trailer, when I heard her voice like, "Here for you," and I was like, the fuck is this? I mean, not to like rag on her voice actress, like I don't like shit on her, like
no, I agree though, because it's
clearly not her.
Yeah, but it's just a direction. Obviously, they said it because they told her, like, yeah, have it do this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's the same thing that happened to Ray Chase when he originally started voicing it. Voicing in 15,
Noctis?
then he came up like, yeah, when he was voicing Noctis in 15 originally, then like the episode, I don't remember what it was called, like before the actual game came out, and then they started doing the voiceover again, and he went in a different direction, not like the super deep voice that he had originally. So it's not her, because I heard her now talking and her voice is fine. It's the ways that she's being told to voice her character.
Yeah, it's the way she's portraying her is interesting, and
the whole airheadedness.
Right.
Part of the reason that I'm more concerned, part of the reason that I'm more concerned here, one is because I follow voice actors and voice acting, and two, considering the way the company has gone the past couple of years with female characters, I just don't have the faith that they're going that Cloud turned out well, so I have faith that it's gonna be the same with Aerith.
You're afraid she's gonna turn out to be another Lunafria? Am I not allowed to say that name in front of? Oh, sorry, I've got to go, guys.
Well, did they not try to copy her death scene from Aerith? Like, try to copy like the emotion from it, even though like that chick did nothing in that game to like justify.
They were definitely trying to evoke it, and the thing is, a lot of people kind of fell for it. So I guess they were maybe successful. I don't know, because I've seen people get like emotional, because I watch a lot of reaction videos, right? And I've seen people get emotional over that moment and the moment at the end that we shall not speak of because it's heinous. The thing about Lunafria is that she's not interesting. She's not remotely interesting.
They didn't give her a chance to be. Yeah.
And she is like, if you were to make a list of how not to do female characters in gaming, she should definitely be on that list.
We should do a discussion on that at some point, because I have a lot of thoughts on that matter.
Yeah, that Lunafria deserves her own podcast. But
that's as far as I got in that game.
Did you see the moment and then just go fuck this?
Yeah, I just kind of put my
That's what
down
I wanted to do.
For some reason, never came back.
Anecdote, but Carlie and I were playing it at the same time, and I was maybe like half an hour ahead of her, and we were on voice together, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Carlie was like, what is it? And I was like, I'm not telling you, just keep playing. And I was just like, oh fuck off. Like,
you're upset.
Might be recorded somewhere. I was like, this is so stupid. Like, we don't even know who this character is, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's so dumb. And like, I could tell they were trying to make it this massive, impactful moment, and to me, it just wasn't.
Yeah, the scene itself.
The scene itself was actually fine. The issue I had with it was that nothing built up to it. Like, they did not have a relationship of any kind. They didn't know each other. It was like they met a couple of times when they were younger. Do you know what I mean? And it was like they don't know anything about each other, really, like who they are. It's all just duty and honor and all that shit, and it's like, and Noctis is like furious and like blah blah blah, and you're just like, but
for why?
But you didn't even know her.
Because I was gonna say, like, the beat itself is like beautifully made, but like there was no emotional sort of weight.
Yeah,
to it.
There was no reason for us to care that she died. There just wasn't.
Her death scene is made for a character that's been involved in the story that you're watching, that you're attached to, which wasn't the case with her at all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But before,
I will point out that he specifically wanted to be around when I got there because he wanted to listen to me rage when I got there, which is what he got.
It was great.
I was like, 30 minutes.
Like, and I was like, just laughing the whole way through.
I was like, before we move on the voice actors, there's like again, there's two baffling things. Like Gideon Emery and like Erika Limbeck, two great voice actors, voicing Biggs and Jesse, who are gonna be dead by the end of Maker. And I would have preferred them being involved with like bigger characters that are going to be around much longer. I think the other controversial one is Sephiroth, because it's by Tyler Hoechlin. He was in Teen Wolf. He is now doing Superman and Supergirl. I'm not sure it's gonna work, but I would have to see more because I'm not sure that his voice fits.
Yeah, he's one of the ones I'm a bit iffy about. But
he might make it
I don't want to be a hater,
but that could be that could be worse than Arif.
Okay, can we talk about like how everyone's worried about like Steve Bloom and Vincent? That's like the one character I'm like, please don't change because he's so good.
I don't really remember much of him other than not emoting, I guess.
Well, that's Vincent. Or not.
That is Vincent, but it's like, I mean, personally, I don't care if they change him out. Like, I do think he did at least a serviceable job before.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind if he came back either. I'm not fussed if they do change him out because I'm overwhelmingly pleased that they changed everybody else.
Yeah, everyone else so far. Well, some exceptions for select people, but yeah, overall. Yeah, again, like I've been stoked about Cloud's actor in particular because Cloud sounds so young and naive and a flower.
Yeah, I think they've nailed him. I think they've actually nailed Cloud, right, which is just amazing.
I know a lot of people were upset about Steve Burton leaving or whatever, but I just think it's like, it's fitting. I mean, especially because like, I think he sounds close enough. Because like even when they had the trailer, people were like, was that Steve? Was that Steve? I don't know if people's like wishful thinking, but it sounds like close enough to Steve that like people in their head could even like transition that to like Advent Children if they want to do, I think. So like the essence of Cloud is still there. He just sounds the way he's supposed to be, which is like young and naive and like a bit of brat and cocky.
Pain in the ass.
Right. I'm excited for him and he's won me over.
I am too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, same here.
Yes.
What do you guys think about the combat system?
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so hyped. When I saw that demo, I was like, yeah.
Sick.
I think it looks amazing. I think it looks like it's going to be really fun.
Especially
after watching this video and like finding out they have stances. Yes. And like you might be able to, they couldn't confirm it, but like basically did confirm it, is that when you do the like stop time thing, you can switch out to the other characters and like have all three of them perform a combo together.
Oh my god.
Like on one target.
Right. Okay.
So like you can have like Tifa launch, or Cloud or Tifa launch one of them up in the air and then Barrett shoot them and then like, do you know what I mean? That's going to be amazing. So like it looks so good.
Right.
And Materia's confirmed and all that shit.
That's another thing too, is that you can tell they put a lot of thought in it because it's going to be one of those things where you have to be strategic about strategic rather about
strategic.
Shut up. I can't English. You have to be strategic. You're going to cut that out too. You have to be strategic about I'm not going to be on these podcasts again if you continue to allow me to humiliate myself. I'm going to continue to humiliate myself. Anyway, you have to be strategic about like the bosses that the enemies that you're fighting. And it's not just going to be like a button mash, like power through sort of thing. Like you have to put some thought into it. And I think that's going to be really exciting.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
It looks really good.
Strategic. Fuck you guys.
One of the things I'll say is that like, I'm not sure. And so the combat looks great, but the gameplay itself, I'm not sure about yet. We know there's no jump button.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
There's no jump button. Not that really matters all that much, I guess. But
yeah, it doesn't. It just feels strange.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to playing FF13 and not having a jump button, and then playing FF13 2 and when they added a jump button, and it just improved it so much. So I'm a little bit worried that it's going to feel a bit too static.
Right.
Just in terms of like movement, walking around and talking to people and stuff.
Right. Yeah. That is worrying. Because it's just one of those basic features that like even if you don't need to jump anywhere, it's fun to jump.
I'm thinking about FF14 and how I literally just jump everywhere.
Right.
I don't need to be.
We just run everywhere. Fucking stupid potatoes.
Lala's for life.
Like, even if you don't need to, it's just fun. Lala for life. It's just jumping around, fucking up people's shit. Now, okay. Do you want to talk about the rest of the conference?
Yeah. Surprisingly, a decent conference. It wasn't great, but then the rest of E3 wasn't either.
Yeah.
There were two things that I cared about outside of Final Fantasy, which were I wanted to see the Avenger game because I was curious. Not necessarily a game that I might buy, but I wanted to see what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
The Avengers game, it looks interesting. I want to see more of it. I don't like the design. I think it was the design of a Cap that I didn't like very much. Like, I think like some of them are miscast. They should be voicing another character. Not enough is fine as like Tony because he does the sarcastic character really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of you care about that game is fine.
No, sorry, I don't.
No, all I was thinking was the Walmart Avengers meme, to be honest, and how that cracked me up.
I finished talking. It was
Who the hell are you guys?
Okay, we can move on.
I think that game's a big deal to a lot of people, but it's like personally to me, I'm not fussed.
I know, like you guys are Marvel fans, it's fine.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention after Tifa.
Literally, we collectively glazed over.
Anyways, this is one. That's just
Love you.
like, it's fine. It's fine. Like I can do that with I do that with 7. You guys can do that with Avengers. Let's just move on to Shadowbringers.
Yay!
Yes, I got a free bag at E3.
I'm very excited. Well, the trailer they showed at E3 was the launch trailer, according to Yoshi P. Respect to Yoshi P, by the way, who is an amazing director and saved 14.
The only one I have faith in.
He's fantastic. So he introduced the trailer, and it was basically a lore trailer with a big lore reveal at the end of it that shocked me and shocked anybody who's following the story in FF14. So it made me quite excited for the expansion, actually.
I was just expecting like this trailer, oh, this is what's gonna show, like mechanics and that stuff, and then they dropped that bomb at the end.
Yeah, because like
wow.
I follow I play 14 quite diligently, so I do tend to follow like the media and the live letters from the producer and all that kind of stuff when they come out. So I'm aware of some of the things that are coming up, and outside of hearing a new Susan Calloway theme, I wasn't really that interested in a new trailer for Shadowbringers because I've literally watched about 100 YouTube videos on the new classes and all their new moves and stuff. So unless they were going to show me like a brand new area or something, I was like, I don't really. I'll watch it and it will probably get me mildly excited, but I didn't expect it to do as much as it did for me. Because as I was watching it, I was like, okay, we're seeing like 14 is starting to look a little bit dated, like in terms of graphics. Let's be honest. But as I was watching the trailer, I was like, okay, it's cool. We've got the characters, and then like the voiceover work was really good, and it was obviously like snippets of the story that's coming up, and I was like, okay, this is fine. But then that lore drop at the end was like, that's a really good move, because now I'm like, that actually got me. So yeah, I'm really excited for Shadowbringers. That was a good trailer.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Early access is on the 28th, so next Friday.
And hopefully, like the 2 other people here with us will get back playing the game.
I knew she was gonna target me. I knew she was gonna bully me.
I said 2 people. I targeted you and Seb.
Yeah.
Leave me and Sab alone. People always saying mom potatoes. It's racism. So you need to watch yourself.
Okay.
She said okay.
We're a lot of fun to play with, though.
Yes, the rare moments we do have fun. We do log in.
I should give one of you my Shadowbringers bag that I got from E3. It's one of those giant ones.
Give it to me to spite both of them. So.
I don't really care, so maybe that will motivate you to playing.
I plan to. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, right, Fancy?
We're gonna do it. We're doing it after this podcast.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Eventually.
We had another event with Square Enix that was quite memorable.
We had some people at the concert, and
they reported to us what they saw.
It was great.
Did you enjoy the fact that half of the music was actually coming from that wasn't like played there?
Oh yeah, I felt bad for our correspondents because paid a hell of money just to listen to a bunch of OST music.
That was weird. It felt like they just like made like that came together last minute.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna reveal Final Fantasy, so just a concert, and then they just like made music for half of the concert and nothing else.
I feel like the whole thing was like building up to the E3. Like that was just like an appetizer.
It definitely was. Yeah.
Because they showed part of that trailer at the concert, right? Like a condensed version of it.
Like a small teaser trailer, and they made it
right, which they released
exactly. They made it clear that it wasn't the full one, and they'll be showing more the following day.
What they showed there, they put online almost
Right.
immediately after, so it felt kind of weird for the people that were there.
Right, like because like already you had like most of the like original soundtrack just blasting through speakers, but you couldn't even have like the extra benefit of being like one of the super secret special people who saw the concert. I mean, saw the secret trailer for a little while because like
right, exactly.
everyone knows this. Everyone's saying this.
We're not special.
But you were there. Like, talk about your experience a bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly the event itself was. I mean, when I first walked in, the event was. You can tell it was pretty much just put together last minute for the trailer. There wasn't too much special about it, and I think I'm just speaking from past experience because I've been to that same venue for another concert. At the time, it was The Legend of Zelda, but it was a full out production of like themed cocktails and posters everywhere. It was a fun time, but walking into the Symphonic reunion, it was still nice. It was a nice venue, but there was nothing extra, if you will. It was just kind of everyone walking to their seats.
Right.
And then there was an orchestra or seats for an orchestra on stage with a giant screen. And then as they proceeded through the event, it was, just nothing really new outside of what some of us may have already heard at Distant Worlds. I mean, when it came to the actual compositions. And then, like you said, the rest was just showing clips from the game while blasting the original soundtrack through the speakers. And
were you mad about that? Did that disappoint you?
A little bit. I mean, 10 minutes in, when they kind of cruised through some of the I was disappointed by the time they got to Rufus's welcoming ceremony. I was like, dang it, this would have been perfect to hear with an orchestra. But when they weren't playing that, I was like, okay, I don't think they're going to be playing anything new. And so I was sitting there and I was just a bit disappointed. But, whenever they did play something, even though it was from Distant Worlds, and I've been to one show, so I recognized it, it was still very nice. I mean, the performances themselves were amazing. That orchestra is amazing. And so, I mean, still a great experience because I'm an orchestra geek in that way. But it would have been nice to see a little bit more.
Like maybe a new track, a new orchestrated track.
Yeah, like I would have liked to hear new tracks. I mean, it was my first time hearing Tifa's theme though, so when that came on, that was beautiful, and I've never heard it live before, so that oh my god, I almost cried. But that was great. But it would have been nice to hear, like Anxious Heart or
yeah,
right. Oh,
I mean, if it's a concert like that, all of the songs should have been played there. I mean, that was I understand the thing with the trailer because it was gonna leak, and people were gonna leak the release date and all that stuff, and that's fine. But then you should have a proper concert.
Right.
That is for people like pay money to see.
I would have loved to hear like actual just Final Fantasy VII songs throughout. And some people were saying, oh, of course they weren't gonna create anything new, but I was hoping that they would have done a full out Final Fantasy VII concert and then have it turn into like a tour that they would just continue, and so it wouldn't just be a one-time event, that they'd actually go on to make it a series of tours all over. But then by the end it kind of confirmed like, oh, okay, I think this was literally just for E3 and dropping the trailer. which was cool. I mean, it was nice to see, Nomura and Kitase on stage and hearing from them directly, and there was a lot of excitement once the release date came out.
Right.
But then that, then they posted it online for everyone to see. So we were special from
right. Yeah.
And what was the game stuff that kind of leaked that by accident before it happened? So even then, you guys weren't unfortunately, especially because GameStop just like accidentally posted the article they were gonna do before it was supposed to happen. That was unfortunate.
Right.
Because it kind of felt like it was kind of like it kind of feels that they were taking advantage of the fact that people were really excited about it and they overcharged.
Yeah, it.
And they just didn't give like what
Does feel like a cash grab.
like that
Yeah.
deserved.
I mean, they got a ton of money. Good for them.
Yeah. You're funding our production of the game.
Now finish Tifa.
Right, now finish Tifa. I paid money for this. She better be fully baked come TGS.
I think Howl's still trying to get a refund.
Is she really?
Oh my god, for real? I know, yeah, I was gonna say, I know Howl was not like super upset, but she was kind of like, compared to like you said, compared to her experiences, this sort of like a cop out.
Right.
Eek.
It was. I mean, I would be upset too because she got the highest tier because there were 3 tiers of tickets, and she got really great seats. She got the highest tier. She should have, and she actually got, stayed the night to stay in the area that night. So I mean, she invested a lot. So I would be upset too. Honestly.
Didn't meet your expectation.
It wasn't quite.
Yikes.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly what we paid.
I think the tickets were quite expensive, like for what it was.
For what it was, I mean, now that I know what it was, they were pretty expensive. Because I had a different idea in mind, and it definitely, like you said, didn't meet my expectations.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No worries.
Feels bad.
Yeah, makes you reluctant to, if they do this again, be more wary about it. This is not what they would want.
Yeah, I remember like immediately after that, like there were like hella people tweeting about like, the fuck? This is some bullshit. Where's my money? I want a refund. Yeah, a lot of people were complaining that like it was very, very, very little boom for the buck.
Yeah, it was awkward, especially when the footage on the screen would just go on forever, and the orchestra was just sitting on stage awkwardly, and the audience was sitting there awkwardly, and it's like, it's not like we haven't played this game, people.
Right,
You know what happens.
You got to walk around on the show floor. You got to see like you didn't get to play the demo, but you got to be around the area and around the people and all that shit. How was that?
Yeah, so I was able to through the help of a friend who worked at Square, I was able to stop by E3 for a few hours on was it Tuesday, the day that the show floor opened, and yeah, the demo tickets sold out like an hour before I got there, which is understandable. The minute I found out that it was ticketed, I was like, okay, this is over. I'm not. But when I walked in, I mean, it was really cool. I mean, I've been telling everyone that it was just really surreal and amazing to see Final Fantasy VII, literally the remake, at least, literally front and center of everything. Because E3, I mean, it split up into 2 halls. I don't know if you've ever been to LA Convention Center, but there's a West Hall and a South Hall. And the South Hall was where all of, where Square was. And so you walk in through the doors, and the first thing you see literally is just a huge Final Fantasy VII Remake display. And that was where, they had the four columns of the character renders. So these giant posters of Tifa, Cloud, Aerith, and Barrett. And behind the Hardy Daytona were just, well, I know that we've seen a lot of those, but some of them was just outside of the hall. Once you actually go into the show floor, again, literally the first thing you see as you entered the show floor was Square's booth, and it was really huge. And there was a giant line for the remake demo, and on the other end, there was a giant sign that showed Square, and they were just rotating through their trailers for everyone to watch. A little Avengers side as well. And then on the other side of the 7 demo, there was the Final Fantasy XIV, the Shadowbringers side, where everyone was playing on their various computers there as well. So yeah, it was really cool, and it was my first time at E3, so it was huge, and all the booths were just really amazing.
Oh,
I got to stream a little bit on the floor for some of our Instagram followers.
Yay!
Yeah, good time, good
Lucky to have you.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll post some of the photos. I've been meaning to post some of the photos I took on the forum, so maybe I'll do that. What's really cool is the concept art. I definitely recommend
yes.
you taking a look. Some of it looks beautiful.
Thank you for doing that as well,
Yeah.
for getting those photos.
Yeah, happy to.
So, what about the rest of E3? Because Sony was notoriously not there. EA was technically before, and like who cares? Microsoft had a decent conference, and Ubisoft had the Watch Dogs was good, and that was it. And that doesn't say anything about the actual game being good.
There was also Bethesda.
Oh yeah, that thing happened.
Oh yeah, yikes.
Which, to be honest, we largely ignored for the concert. But
right, from what I saw though.
yeah,
I did finish it. The problem is that they were in trying to get people to forget about what a disaster Fallout 76 was. They were apologizing a lot, and they were trying to brag about the fact that things were, oh, this is free. Yeah, it should be free. Because like you sold a game that was unfinished to people at full price. Yeah, it should be free, and that's not a thing they should brag about. As if it's something like, oh, like look how nice and good we are that we're giving this to you. Fuck off with that.
I know, we're doing you guys a favor.
It's the least you can do.
Right. That sort of psychology. Right. I don't think people fell for it though, because people were like making fun of them the entire time, trying to pull that trick.
The only saving grace that they had, and it's not something that they did, was like the Fallout 76 kind of like people stopped talking about it because then Anthem came out and we went, hold my beer, this is gonna be a bigger disaster. People didn't stop talking about Fallout 76 because like it suddenly turned better, or it wasn't the disaster it was before. It's because like a new bigger disaster came forward. So the whole thing was kind of stupid. There was like one good thing, was like the Doom trailer. Otherwise, it was a stupid conference.
Yeah, I watched a bit of EA's one as well, and I suppose that wasn't a conference, but they were at E3 with their EA Plays thing, and the Star Wars game looks okay. Like, looks like it could be an interesting or at least fun game. I'm probably not going to buy it because EA's games have all been terrible recently. But you know, it's at least they're making a single-player Star Wars game. That's something. And then
it's because they had no involvement in it.
And then, like the bigger moments, I guess, from E3, we should talk about Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk. That was a moment.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
That was like the only game that I was looking forward to because like Sony wasn't there, so we weren't gonna see The Last of Us Part 2. I just can't get over the Keanu Reeves because that was hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious how people were freaking out.
Overall, go on.
No, I was just saying, I'm being a hater. Go ahead.
I'm waiting for Fancy to hate.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Who do you hate?
Don't feel. I don't hate anybody. No, it's just listen. I was just very surprised that it's not even. It's people are just like freaking the fuck out of Keanu Reeves. He's like a god now. It's like a meme. It's nothing to hate on. It's just a meme. I was just surprised that I knew people liked him. I like him because he seems like a very cool, like humble guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was just surprised. Everyone's losing their shit. I didn't realize they said it's popular. Yes.
Well, I think everybody was surprised. Like, how can you not be?
Because there's literally an image of him in the image of like Jesus Christ, and I think it's hilarious. Like floating around the it's like, yep, he's our new god.
He's a very meme-worthy person.
Yeah, and he was so cute on the stage too, even though he seemed like low-key drunk. But yeah, he's very him about it. Just that's him. He doesn't try to hide the fact that what his personality is, and that's just he's a very normal dude. Yeah, he's not a great actor by any means, but because of the person that he is very entertaining. And you know how he took your breathtaking. You're all breathtaking. That was hilarious. I mean, John Wick like put like some energy to his career that now like everyone's super into him, and like he's seen a bunch of things right now.
it's kind of cool that he's in Cyberpunk because he was in the Matrix, even though like the sequels are terrible and the first one isn't as good as people want to pretend that it is. But it's a cool thing. I want to know what the actual plot is here because like there's some details that come out and okay, it's curious, but you know, it's like this is the company that made The Witcher and they had a story to build up on instead of. I don't really know much of the tabletop game that is like Cyberpunk, but it has a lot less to build on than they had with The Witcher. They're just basically making, at least as far as I'm aware, new characters and creating a story inside of there, as opposed to The Witcher. They were just adapting characters that already existed. So it's kind of curious to see how that goes. Because recently, adaptations, once they have to go and to do their own thing, hadn't worked out very well.
Yikes.
It looks good though. I mean,
it does.
Yeah, it looks really
it does. It looked good. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet because I don't really think we've seen enough still.
I'm still not a fan of the first person angle to it because this is still an RPG and that just doesn't fit.
Well, I mean, Fallout, Bethesda does that with theirs though.
Yeah, but like remember like the way Cyberpunk, the way CD Projekt Red does their game and being used to The Witcher, it doesn't fit.
I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense.
They're more in the same way that BioWare are. It's a dialogue heavy, choice heavy type of situation, and when you're moving around with a character that you can't see, it makes it hard for you to like feel like you're at like that's the character.
Right. I get what you're saying. Actually, I do understand that angle, but like FPS RPGs are a thing, and there's only. I'm not a big fan of first-person perspective in general. There's only one series or franchise that I've kind of gotten involved in where I enjoyed that. Full disclosure, I tried to play Fallout a long time ago, didn't like it. The Elder Scrolls as well. I've never actually played Skyrim, but I played the one before that. What was it called?
Oblivion.
I played that and didn't like it very much. So
sorry, whole world being shaken up. Go ahead, Laxline. All right.
I know. Like I probably would enjoy Skyrim if I could sit down enough to actually play it. But the jank in Bethesda games really pisses me off, to be honest. Like something in Fallout 3. It was Fallout 3 I tried to play, and I remember going to this town, and I was like, I need to do this quest, but there's like an 18% chance that the NPC you're looking for appears on a certain tier of this town or something. And it was like, well, how do I progress with the story? Oh, you need to exit and re-enter like 6 times. Like, no, that kind of shit pisses me off. You know what I mean?
Right.
But anyway, back to the point. I'm not really big on FPSs. However, Deus Ex Human Revolution is a first-person game, and it's also an RPG. And its sequel, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, is the same. And those are stellar, fantastic games. They're good RPGs as well. Action RPGs, if you want to be technical about it. So I'm not, like, by nature, I'm not opposed to it. But I kind of see the point if, do you create your character?
Yes.
So that, to me, is an issue if you don't see your character.
You created, you're like, everything about it is like your creation.
So what's the like? So there is my issue. Is like, what is the point in making your character if you're not going to be looking at them? Or do you see them when they're in dialogue? Do you see them when they're?
You see them in dialogue and in cutscenes, but not when you're actually moving around.
Okay, because the character in Deus Ex, for example, Adam Jensen, you see him whenever you take cover. The game actually pans out to third-person perspective whenever he's in cover. So that's kind of like you can see him. Do you know what I mean? Like actively during the gameplay. So if they find a way to do something like that, then I don't think it's much of an issue.
At least so far, it doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like you're only going to be able to see him or her during cutscenes and dialogue. So that's kind of weird. But yeah.
I thought the Microsoft conference was quite good in general, to be honest. I did think they had quite a strong showing.
They still have the same problem. They don't really have exclusives. But they
yeah.
Especially in comparison to everyone else, they did have a pretty good conference. I'm gonna end like this with a larger issue with the E3 in general. Sony skipped E3 this year. Nintendo has been doing basically their own thing for a couple of years now. E3 has to change because what E3 used to be, it's not. It doesn't work in our current climate. These companies can just do a live stream if they want to. They don't have to spend the money to do the big conferences they're doing, and they're probably gonna keep going that direction instead. It has to be, and there was a lot of resistance to this before, but it basically is gonna have to be more of a fan event than it was before. Because it's just being an interesting industry thing that just is letting people in now just to go to the showroom floors and play the games. It's not gonna work anymore. And there's a lot of backstage drama with the company that actually does E3, and like the part that does E3, apparently they just want to separate from the company in general, because the management isn't good. They're not. They know the event is broken, but it doesn't seem to be an idea of how to fix it. And you can see it this year. It was boring. Like I basically forgot about like the majority of the event like a day after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that. I guess I'm kind of like, because so much of us is put into FF7, it's like the FF7 Remake had such a strong showing this year that it dwarfs everything else anyway. So I feel like personally I can't objectively look at this year's E3 and go, that was good, that wasn't. You could definitely feel that, you know, it was a bit lackluster in general compared to other years. There wasn't a lot of hype around it. Like all of my personal hype was for the FF7 Remake. I did not care about anything else.
Same.
Like I was like, oh, I was actually like, I knew that they were going to talk about the Avengers game, or I suspected they were going to talk about that, and I was like, I hope they don't talk about it too much because I don't want it to impact the amount of time they talk about the remake. That's how I felt about it. I was like, that's how much I don't care about it. So it was like, yeah, there wasn't a lot this year I was really that excited for, to be honest, aside from the remake. And normally I'm excited about a few more things.
Yeah, it's one with the lack of Sony, because we always like to see Sony, even conferences aren't always good. The tickets for like the general audience going in had to be cheaper because it's insanely expensive. A flight there might be cheaper than actually getting in there. Do you remember like a couple of years ago when they did like PlayStation Experience, when they showed the Uncharted the game with Chloe, and then they showed The Last of Us Part 2, and they had those panels after it with the Boy Scouts talking about it. That was really cool. That needs to be more where E3 starts leaning into, because it can't be an industry thing anymore, because like they see that they can get basically the same thing that they're doing with less money, and they're not going to like keep spending a lot of money into actually being there.
I guess we should also mention like some of the other announcements. FF8 remastered, the biggie.
Oh yeah, people are sick of that one being neglected rather. Yeah, getting some love.
Oh, it's neglected no longer. That's huge. And what was the other thing? I swear there was something else that was really important.
Tifa's Rivet. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Breath of the Wild 2. Hello,
yeah.
That's huge. That is huge as fuck. I've played Breath of the Wild, and it's a fantastic game. It's so good.
It really is. It's beautiful.
So the fact that they're working on a full-blown sequel is huge, but obviously that won't be seen the light of day for many years. Is there anything else?
Watch Dogs, if you want. That could kind of cool.
Oh well, I mean, you can talk about that all you like. The only good thing about that was the old lady.
That's pretty funny. That's what I meant. And the fact that it's gonna be setting one of your favorite places with one of your favorite topics.
Why would you say that?
To get that reaction.
It's not funny.
It is. Again, it's not. It was a very boring E3 in general.
I will say that like the Ubisoft conference wasn't that bad either, though. Like in terms of like how it was paced and presented and stuff, it wasn't that bad. They've done a lot worse.
Yeah. It was kind of weird to leave the Just Dance for like the middle of it instead of just starting with it, so we can move on from that. It's like, oh, they started like with the music. I think it was from Assassin's Creed. That was really good. Okay, and then halfway through the conference, here comes Just Dance. It's like, come on. And it got our YouTubes. We can live stream now for 6 months for nothing.
Yeah, we're not allowed to live stream on YouTube right now because of Ubisoft's conference. Thanks, Ubisoft. Even though we sang over the song.
Was that your attempt at...
Maybe they just didn't like our singing.
That's hilarious, and you still got fucked.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Fucking stupid. Any last thoughts?
I love you guys mostly.
Not sure what the mostly is about, but okay.
I'm being naughty. No, I'm hyped. I caved and bought the first class set. Pre-ordered.
First class. Nice.
Yes, I caved, even though I'm broke as fuck. You better edit that out too. No one needs to know my business. And I'm looking forward. My hope is restored. Looking forward to TGS. Looking forward to March. Oh my god! And we'll give our impressions then. Oh, look forward to before we get into the actual game. Look forward to some essays from the Lifestream.net. We're going to be working on the potential of ... and it's just going to be exploring like different potentials that the game could have in regards to like different things like gameplay and like the psychology and horror. Genova, just like we just explore that a little deeper. You can find the articles by X-Soldier on our site actually, and we hope to put that up in video form. So look forward to that. That's gonna be my project. That's all. That's my piece.
That's your piece. And Tifa.
Yes. I love her. I'm still adjusting. I'm not a hater. I just have a lot of emotions.
I just have a lot of feelings.
She doesn't even go here.
Fuck you.
The best way to end it is when Mean Girl memes. Because we all love that movie. We'll see you around.
Yeah, next time.
Hope you enjoyed some of our videos analysis. Have fun. And like, just wait until Tokyo Game Show if Tifa isn't good to see Fancy's reaction about it, because I bet it's gonna be hilarious.
Either way, I'm probably gonna be in tears. Yes.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Forgot it was through. Join our Discord.
Join our Discord. Join our forum.
Join the conversation.
Links to all these things are in the description.
Love you. Bye.